So the first of all, we have to discuss about the document object model. Okay, why we have to learn about the DOM inside the JavaScript? Because whenever you're gonna write a JavaScript here, okay, you are trying to write a JavaScript to manipulate the elements of the HTML and the CSS as well. Okay, because this is a now we are learning about the client-side programming language that's actually known as JavaScript. Now the point is, first of all, we will discuss about the document object model. Okay, now this is a very important thing, and now this is also a very basic thing you have to understand. In point one, you will discuss about the JavaScript. Okay, the JavaScript would not be able to understand this type of format. So first of all, what is actually a DOM? So DOM is nothing, that was actually document object model, and now this is a cross platform and the language independent interface. Okay, if you're gonna talk about the DOM, either you have a XML document, either you have a JSON document or HTML document. So DOM is a cross platform language and the independent interface. Okay, now it will create any another programming language structure into a tree structure using the DOM. Okay, how you would be able to see the DOM structure? So let me show you. So it will represent whole the structure of your programming into a tree representation. It look like DOM. So the first of all, just I have told you, this is one very basic document I have created. Now this is a HTML document. Okay, we will not go for a XML document here. And inside the HTML document, what I have done, just this is a beginning of the HTML tag and this is a end of your HTML tag. Okay, and some of few tag you will know as well. Okay, some tags are, if you wanna start some tag, okay, you don't have to end those particular tag as well. So and inside the HTML, just this is a beginning of your head tag and this is an end head tag. This is a beginning of body and that this is the end of body. So I have mentioned multiple tags, and inside the head, just I have mentioned the title, and this is a one title I have mentioned my title. So inside the body I have mentioned a one more tag h1, and this is the end. This is the one division. Inside the division I have mentioned a one division here. Okay, inside the whole document you should have to use a unique division each and every place. Okay, but you can simply mention a similar class into a different element as well. So that's how a HTML document look like. Now the point is, JavaScript would not be able to understand this structure. That's why you are using a document object model here. So you have converted this particular structure into a tree structure. And now when you're gonna manipulate your elements, okay, there's a multiple method to manipulations. Now the point is, JavaScript would be able to understand this structure. So just look at this. Under the document, HTML is a root element, right? Your whole structure starting from the HTML. And now inside the HTML, just you have defined two sections. The first one is head, the another one is body. Because if you're gonna look out at the left side, so inside the HTML, this is a head and this is a clause of head, and this is a body and this is a clause of body. That's why you are using a both thing here. This is a head and the body. Now the point, inside the head you have mentioned the title, okay, and the main text what you have to assign here, that's it look like exactly the same. So that's how the DOM is look like. Now the point is, you will get a different type of node here. Okay, which type of node I'm talking about? So the first of all, this is an element node. If you're going to talk about the head here, so which type of node is this? So there's a three type of node. This is a element node. Okay, and now this, if you're going to look out the ID and what's the value of this ID, division 1. Okay, so this node is called the property node. Okay, because this is a property of this particular division tag. And now there's a one more type of node. This is a first type. Okay, let me change the color. So this is a first type, and then the first type is an element node. The second one is a property node. Okay, and the third one is a text node, right? So this is the main body text what you have written here. So this is the third type. Now you can manipulate any one of them using the JavaScript. Either you can also manipulate the inner text of your element node. Either you can simply manipulate your property as well using the JavaScript. You would be able to fetch your elements using the property node as well. Okay, and the third one is a main text. You can also manipulate this thing using the JavaScript. So these type of three node, you wanna check it out inside the DOM here. Okay, just you have to manage the hierarchy. Let's suppose if you want to change this particular text. Okay, so which path you're gonna follow inside the JavaScript? So either just you can simply use a directly P here if you want to apply the border using the JavaScript, or either if you want to zoom in this particular text. So if you're gonna mention the P tag here, so what happened? So actually there's a two P tag inside your whole document, the first P and the second P tag. If you directly apply any property on top of P tag, so that particular property will be applied on top of both tag. but you don't want to apply both of them. Only you want to apply this particular p tag under the division. So just you have to follow the path, because first of all you have to write the division 1 here. Under the division 1 you have to follow the path of p, and you have to apply the properties of your JavaScript using this particular method. Just you have to understand the hierarchy, in which hierarchy or tree structure is created to apply your manipulations, your all things. If you will differentiate the difference between the ID and the class, so the only main difference is, whenever you're going to define a ID property along with any element, just that particular ID should be unique in your whole object. Okay, that particular ID should be unique in your whole document. Okay, because using that particular ID you can simply fetch that particular element, you can simply manipulate that element. But in case of class, this particular class you can simply use inside the multiple element. That's the major difference between the ID and the class. So we have to understand the variable and the data types in JavaScript. So if you will discuss about the variables actually, so first of all you have to understand what is actually a variable is. So if you're going to discuss about the variable here, so variable is nothing, if I'm going to explain in a layman way. So if you are trying to understand what is variable, so let's suppose this is your laptop, right? This is your machine. Okay, and you have connected a one CPU. Inside a CPU you have stored a storage hard disk, and inside the CPU has stored the RAM as well. Okay, and now inside this RAM, let's suppose this is RAM what I have mentioned here. So let me write the name. This is a memory, and now we can simply call a memory is a RAM. The point is, when you're gonna open a Firefox browser here, okay, in your monitor, so that particular browser have been stored inside the storage, and now when you're going to open this browser, first of all your browser will load inside the memory. After that it will process by the CPU, and you will be able to see your Firefox browser here. Now the point, if you want to define some, if you want to store some type of data there, so what you have done, just you have to create some blocks here. Okay, either you can simply say in layman language the containers. So let's suppose if you want to store your name, okay, just this is a heading you want to store, or either you want to store your name such in here. So just you have to store that particular name. That particular name have a unique memory address, but in a human language, okay, you would not be able to understand the memory address, right? You would not be able to remember those addresses. So that's why you have given one name. Okay, that particular name is called a variable. So here we have to discuss about the variables and the data types in JavaScript. So if you're gonna discuss about the data type, right? So there's a 3 type of data type you would be able to see. The first one is primitive data type. Okay, and now actually this is just another name, otherwise you can simply say this is a trivial and the other types. So inside the primitive, if you will discuss, these are the numbers, string, and the booleans. What are the numbers? So if you can simply write out 1, okay, and now this is a 2, this is also a number, either you can simply write 2.5. So this is also a number. So all these type of data type are the numbers. If you will discuss about the string, anything whatever you have written here, just like this is a JavaScript, so this is also a string. But when you're gonna define a string inside the JavaScript, you have to follow the double quotes or the single quotes. Just you have to remember that one. Now in case of boolean, there's only 2 data type in case of boolean, and what does, so that was a false, or either you can simply say true. Just you can simply write here true and the false falc. Okay, so they are the false data type. If you will discuss about the trivial or the other data type, that was a 2, the null, and the undefined. Okay, and now if you will discuss about the composite types, okay, we will discuss in brief about these data type. We have a different chapters on top of that, object and array, so not to worry about this. So we will discuss in brief in next sessions. Okay, this is an object data type we will discuss here, and now this is another one is array. Now the one more thing you have to understand, so JavaScript is a loosely typed programming language. Okay, why I'm calling it loosely, and the another term is very important, the JavaScript is dynamically as well. Okay, and we have already discussed about the dynamically in previous lecture as well, but not to worry. So let me represent why you are calling a loosely typed programming language and why you are calling it's a dynamically typed programming language. Why the JavaScript is loosely typed? So if we have follow the path of the C programming language, okay, how you would be able to define the variables on that point. So first of all, if you're going to define the variables there, so just you have to follow this path. So first of all, I'm going to mention the script tag. You know very well, we have write our JavaScript inside the script tag, and here if you're gonna write any variable in case of C programming language, thus you have to follow this path, right? Integer x, or either you can simply define the value of 10 as well. So this particular syntax is a syntax of a C programming language. But in case of JavaScript, just you don't have to define the type of any variable. Okay, which type of variable you want to define, just we can simply pass directly the value here. So if I want to define a number here, just I can simply use a num1, and you can simply mention any number. So this is the one method to define your variable. So just I have used a one keyword name as well. Okay, and I didn't define the type of num1 because I have mentioned the 100. If you want to define a num2 here, just you can simply mention a different data type, ad current. So this is another structure, and now if I'm gonna mention this is a number. Okay, and now this another data what I have defined here, this is a string. If you want to define a one more data type, just you can simply define num3. Either you can simply take a false here, either you can simply true. It's your choice. Okay, and what does it type? I have defined a boolean here. So that's how you can simply define, because I didn't define the type of my variable, that's why I'm calling this is a loosely type. Okay, so the spelling, just not to worry about it. The JavaScript is a loosely type of variable you have defined. Just you have to use a one keyword name as where, and after that directly define the variable. Okay, and this is how you would be able to define your variable. Now the point is, let's suppose there's a one more method. Let's suppose if you don't want to define the value of your variable, just you can simply use the same keyword where you can simply define a variable num4, and now this is called initialization. So what I have done, just I have initialized my bad, sorry. This is called, I have declared my variable here, right? And now once you have successfully declared, just you can simply initialize the value for num4, and now this is how you would be able to do. So this is called declaration what I have done, and now you can simply later initialize the value of num4 as well. And if you want to do the same thing in simple one line, just you can simply follow this path. Okay, now this is your choice how you can simply define all this thing. Here I have first of all declare my variable, after that I have initialized, but in this case just I have done both the things in the same line. And now there's a one more term we have discussed, that was a dynamically type, right? What does it mean? So the point is, in case of dynamically type, if you will discuss about that particular term, so just look at this. Initially inside the num1 I have defined 100, and what's the data structure of the 100? That would be a number. But the later just we can simply change the type of num1 as well here. So if I'm gonna mention a string here, so that's working fine, there's a no issue inside this variable. But in case of C programming language, you would not be able to do that, because if you have initially defined that was an integer, so you would not be able to write any another data type inside the same variable. But here what I have done, first of all I have defined a number, and later I have defined a string inside the num1. So that's how we have discussed already. Okay, what is actually data type? So we have discussed about the numbers, string, and the boolean. Okay, and I have told you what type of data types. Now the point is, there's a two more data type we have already discussed, just let it be. Now there is some sort of rules, and now these are the examples we have already discussed. Now this is the one PPT I will share in a Slack workspace. You would be able to check it out, this PPT later as well. And now these are some naming convention you have to follow when you're gonna define any data type. Okay, when you're gonna define any identifier as well. Okay, identifier is nothing. So if you're gonna discuss about the identifier, just what I have done, so I'm trying to define a variable here, right? This particular name is called an identifier. Either just I'm using a var as well. Okay, now what is var? Var is a predefined keyword, because if you are trying to define a identifier, you cannot use a predefined word. You cannot use this method. Okay, if you're gonna use this method, it will give you the error. Just look at this. This is a variable declaration expected JavaScript. Okay, because the var is already a predefined keyword. You cannot define a predefined keyword as an identifier again. Okay, that's how you are able to see this is a one error what you have done. So just there are some sort of algorithm, there's some sort of rules you have to follow. What are the rules? Let's suppose if you want to define any name, so what are the naming convention you're gonna follow? So the first of all, you cannot start your name from the number as well. Okay, 0 to 9. You cannot start your first character of your identifier from 0 to 9. They must be begin with a letter or an underscore character. You can simply start from an underscore character. You can also mention the $sign as well as the first character of your identifier. Okay, because if you wanna look at the 1, 2, 3 test, it's an invalid variable name you are trying to use. But if you can simply use an underscore 1, 2, 3 test, this is a valid one, right? And now JavaScript is also a case sensitive. Just name and the name, both are the two different variables, because in the first name what I have done, just I have used a capital N, and in the earlier one I have used a small n. So both are the different variables here. Okay, and now if you're going to discuss about the JavaScript reserved words, so all these are the reserved words. Okay, you cannot use these reserved word as a new variable name, because all these are the reserved already inside the JavaScript. Okay, so all these are the list of reserved keywords here you are able to see here. Now, yeah, you can simply use a dollar as a first character of your name as well. Okay, if you're going to check it out, this is a one name you are trying to define. Okay, either you can simply use a dollar here. Okay, it will work fine, there's a no issue. You can use a dollar or a underscore or a character as a first character of your whole name. Either you can simply use underscore here, that's working fine, but you cannot use one here. If you're going to mention a one, just look at this red underline. Okay, this is the one error what I have defined, so that's you would be able to see here. Okay, so this is a method, guys, how you can simply define a variable inside the JavaScript. So now might be I have some operators here. What operator you gonna mention inside the JavaScript? Okay, because if you will discuss about the basic fundamental of the JavaScript, just you have to understand the operator as well. Okay, and you will find out a multiple operator here inside the JavaScript as well. So what is undefined? Undefined, just that will be a trivial data structure. Okay, what is actually is it? So let's suppose sometime if you didn't define any variable, okay, and you are trying to fetch that particular value, so that particular thing will be undefined. So if you want to use this particular method, this is the one method you will follow here. So let me show you the one example to understand this thing. So let's suppose if I'm gonna use a document.write, the same method. Okay, I'm using a DOM structure and I'm trying to write inside the document. Okay, and what I want to write in num10. Oh, that's cool what I have done. So what I'm gonna do here, so let me go live. Where's my browser? Just open my browser, and now inside the browser, if you want to troubleshoot your JavaScript, okay, just you have to open the developer console using the F12 or using the right click, or that you would be able to see inspect your element, right? When you're gonna inspect your element, just you would be able to see your inspector and the console. Just you have to open the console, and the console is a thing. Using the console, just you can simply use a method. Now the point is just num10 is not defined. Okay, but the point is what is a null and what is an undefined. Sometimes you have declared a initial, sometimes you have declared a variable, right? Once you have declared the variable, okay, but you didn't define the value of that particular variable. So just look at this, and what I'm gonna do, just I'm gonna print this particular value. Okay, and if you are able to see, that was a undefined, if you are able to see, right? So let me show you the in proper way. In break tag, oops, oh my bad, I have written this break, or either I have to write this break into an earlier way, or let me comment the whole section, might be that's better. Okay, so let me comment this line. That's cool, and let me comment this one as well. Just look at this, and what is actually undefined is. So what I have done, just I have declared my variable, okay, but I didn't initialize my variable. Okay, that's I have comment this particular line. When you are trying to print any variable which is declared but not initialized, you will get a undefined here. Okay, that's how you can simply use. But sometimes you want to initialize a one null value, that you can simply also use a null there. So that's why you can simply, yeah, you can simply use a br there to document, right? But you have to write again and again the same method, right? I know very well. So when you will discuss about the operators, so there's this multiple type of operator you have to follow. First of all, you have to understand what is actually operator is. After that, we have to move forward to the arithmetic operator, comparison, logical assignment, and the type of. So to understand what is actually an operator is, so just look at this. So you'll be able to see, understand. So this is a one statement I have written, 4 + 5 is equal to the 9. So here just you can simply, so 4 and 5 are the operands, and if you are able to see the special sign between them, so this is called actually operator. And this particular special sign will do the calculations, or the, you can simply, so it will follow an operations using this operator. Whatever operator you have mentioned between your operands, that according to this operator, okay, there's a one calculations been happened here. So now there's a different type of operators you have to follow. If you will discuss about the arithmetic operator, the first you have to understand about the plus sign. Let's take an example. Okay, you have defined a two variable. Assume you have defined a two variable. A, inside the A you have defined 10 and inside the B you have initialized 20. Once you have done this, just if you're gonna add both the variable using the plus, you will get the 30. So the another operator, just all these are operators are the arithmetic operator. The minus is used for subtraction, this is used for the multiplication and the division and the modulus, right? And what is actually a modulus? So output the remainder of the integer division. So what it will do, so it will divide the B by the A, and what remainder you will get from here. So in this case you will get the 0 remainder because the value of A is 10, the value of B is 20. So once it will divide B by 10, so that's why you will get the 0. So the modulus operator will always give you the remainder of the division statements. And there's a two more operator. This is the one is plus plus. This is called a increment. Okay, it will give you the one increment. If you're gonna use a decrement operator, that's use a minus minus. So just you can simply use this operator. And now there's a one very basic difference you have to understand when you're gonna use these operators. Just you have to follow the path where you're gonna use. Sometime you are able to see this statement as well. So let me close this. Let me create a new statement here. Okay, these are the very basics you have to understand, guys. Index5.html, and here I'm gonna enter the boilerplate. So the point is, let's suppose what I'm gonna do. Let's suppose I'm gonna define the script tag first of all. Inside the script tag, I'm gonna define a variable, and the point is variable. The value I'm gonna define is equal to 1 or the 10. So I'm gonna use this variable a plus plus. So I have used an increment operator. So when you have used a plus plus, what does it mean? So it will increment later. Okay. So if you're gonna print the value of a, so if you're gonna print the value of a, so what I'm gonna do, just I'm gonna use a document. Or either I can simply use a multiple method to use this value. Document.write. What I'm gonna do, just I'm gonna mention the a plus plus here. So what does it mean? So when I'm gonna print this particular value, just click on go live, open the console here. Okay, what you are able to see, it will give you the 10, because what I have done. So the if you're gonna check out the execution method of the JavaScript, first of all it will print the value of a. After that it will give the one increment inside that. Let me print the same value again. Okay, what happened? Just look at this, you will get the 11. So let me add a one break sign as well. Okay, just you have to add a br tag. That's how you can simply add. The point is, when you're going to call a plus plus operator, just if you will not mention the plus plus as well here. So if you are able to see, the first of all it will print the values 10, because first it will print the value, after that it will done the increment. Okay, you have to understand. If you're gonna mention plus plus a, sometime you are able to see the plus plus a as well. So what does it mean? First of all it will done the increment, after that it will print the value. Just look at this. So both the times you will get the 11. So that's how, this is a very basic difference you have to understand in case of JavaScript. Let me go back to the point. The same method is also work along with the decrement as well. Okay, I have told the difference already. So now the another operator, this is a comparison operator, right? In case of comparison operator, just what are the comparison operator? If you want to compare multiple values, then you have to follow this operator. So what does it mean? So first of all, this is a one equal, what I have defined here. If you want to check a two operator, if you want to check, my bad, the two variable is equal or not, so just you can simply use this particular method. If a is equal to b, so what does it mean? So this is actually is not true, right? Because it will give you the false, because the value of the a is 10 and you have initialized 20 inside the b. Both the values is not true. If you want to check it out, so instead of writing again and again here, just you can simply do some basic calculations of the JavaScript on top of console as well to understand in a better way. Okay, if you want to do this type of thing, so just you can simply write your some codes on top of console as well. So if you want to write, just let me show you. If you want to define a variable a10, okay, and just you can simply define b is equal to 20. And what do you want to do? Just you have successfully defined the a is equal to 10 and b is equal to 20. The point you are trying to check A is equal to B, right? So just look at this, it will give you the false instantly. If you're gonna enter, so still you will get the false here. So that's how it works. If you're gonna define the same value inside the both elements, you will get. Now the another operator, you have to understand not equal. Okay, if you're gonna check it out, the not equal, so just you can simply mention not equal to B. So yeah, you will get the true because the value of the A and B is not equal, because you have initialized 10 inside the A and you have initialized 20 inside the B. It will give you the true. And now if you're going to check it out the greater than, so A greater than B, false. But if you're going to check it out the A less than B, yeah, this is true. So that's how you can simply use this operator, less than and the greater than. There's a one more thing, you can also use A greater than or equal, because if the both values, sometimes you have to execute your condition at the equality of that particular variable, there you can simply use the greater than and equal operator. Okay, so these are the some operators what I have discussed under the comparison operator. Now let me move forward to the next operator. So this is the one logical operators you have to understand. Now there are three type of logical operator you have been following each and every programming language you would be able to see. The first one, that will be an AND logical operator. The second one will be OR. The third one is NOT. Now this is very pretty quick simple operators. So the point is, if you want to check multiple condition, there just you can simply follow this particular operator. So if the both condition or if the all conditions have been true, what you have trying to compare, so if the whole conditions will be true, that it will give you the true. Otherwise, if any single condition will be false in your statement, so you can simply, it will give you the false here. In case of logical OR operator, only the one condition should be true, then it will give you the true there. Otherwise, if the whole condition will be false, it will give you the false. So let me show you the one example to understand this. So the point, if you will discuss about this, the logical operator here, so let me define one more variable, C is equal to 20. Okay, so what I'm going to do, so I will define one basic statement, A not equal to 10, or A is less than 20, or B, this is true. But I have the two condition, the another condition I have mentioned, A is less than C as well. So just look at this, I have defined a two condition, the first condition and the second condition is this. Both the condition is true, that's why you will get the true, because I have mentioned the AND operator. If any one of them, if I'm going to check it out, A is greater than B, so what does it mean? The first condition is true, but the second is false, right? If the any one of them is false, so it will give you the false. That's how the AND operator is work. But in case of here, if I'm going to mention the double pipe, so when I'm going to mention a double pipe here, so this is a OR operator I have used. If any one of them condition is true, so you will get the final result will be true here. That's how it works. Okay, so and sometimes let's suppose if you wanna compare multiple conditions here, so A is less than or A is greater than B. Okay, this is false, but if you want to convert this condition into a true statement, if you want to, just you can simply use the NOT operator there. So what does it mean? So NOT operator will convert, okay, true to false and false to true. That's how it will work. So it will reverse the logical statement of its operand. It will convert a true condition into false and false condition into true. That's how it works. Now, so let me move forward to the next point. So this is a one more operator we have to discuss. That's actually an assignment operator. In this case of operators, we have to discuss about the assignment. What are the assignment operator here? So if you will discuss about the assignment operators, so let me show you. Okay, so here, so first of all, this is a one simple assignment, right? Until you have already used multiple times this type of assignment, if you want to assign multiple variables, just you can simply use this method. Okay, what does it mean? So it will assign the right value into the left. What do you have assigned there? So if you want to check it out some example to understand this, just you can simply look at it. So you have assigned multiple times. This is a one more example. This is a one basic simple assignment you have done here. So let me clear this body as well. Allow me to do the one thing. So let's suppose I'm going to assign a value inside the A is 10. That's cool. There's no issue inside this variable. But the point is, sometimes you have to use a add and assignment as well. Okay. Instead of use, you can also use another method. Let's suppose if you want to add 5 number inside the same variable, just you can simply follow this path as well. A plus 5. And this is the one method you can simply do. But instead of using this, because this particular statement will equivalent to the another statement, the statement what I have written here equivalent to the this statement what I'm going to mention here. Okay, so both the statement are same. Either you can simply use this method, or either you can simply use this method. So this operator is called the add and assignment operator. What does it mean? So this particular, it will add 5 inside the A and it will in place operator. Just look at this, and if you're going to check it out, what does it mean? You have assigned 15 inside the A. That's how all the operators along with the all operators of the assignment, just you can simply add a one arithmetic operator, and all these operators look like subtract and the abstraction, multiply and assignment, divide and the modulus. Either sometime you are also use the exponent as well. Okay, that you can simply use there. Okay, so the point, sometime let's suppose we have discussed about all these operator, right? So there's a one more operator we have to discuss here, and now that will be a one type of operator. What does it mean actually? What is that? What are the type of operators? Let's suppose when you will discuss about the type of, so if you want to check out the type of any operator what you have already defined, so this is the one operator you can simply use to check the type of any variable what you have already defined. So let's suppose if you're gonna check it out, so when you will use a type of and you're gonna mention any number here, so it will give you the number because that was a number. If you are trying to check of any string, so it will give you the string as well. If you're gonna mention the boolean here, so it will give you the boolean. In case of object, the object, function. In case of undefined, it will give you the undefined as well, but in case of null, it will give you the object. If you want to check out the type of any variable, this you can simply use this method for that, and now it will give you the type of that particular variable what you have defined there. If you want to discuss about the double equal and the triple equal, there's a one very basic difference between those operators actually. If you're gonna check it out, so let me show you. So let's suppose if you're gonna check it out, the difference between the double equal and triple equal. So let's take an example. If you are trying to define a variable, and what I have done, just I'm trying to define where a is equal to 10. Okay, I want to check a equal 10. Okay, it's true or false. So what does it mean? So when I'm gonna use this method, so what does it mean? So I have mentioned a is equal to 10, so just it will give you the true, right? What happen if I'm gonna mention the 10 inside the string? So what does it mean? Actually, I have used a string here, and earlier I have used an integer. But when I'm trying to check, because a is an integer, because if you are able to see, you have mentioned an integer here. If you are gonna trying to check one, you wanna use a double equal operator. So it will not check the data type of that particular object. Only it will check the value. Okay. So, but the point is, in case of triple equal, if you're gonna mention the triple equal here, and you're gonna check it out the 10, that will the true condition, right? But in case of, if you're gonna mention 10 inside the double quotes, okay, when you're gonna mention 10 inside the double quotes, it will give you the false, because in case of triple equal, it will also check the data structure of that particular object, because here you have mentioned a string, not an integer. But in case of double equal, it will only check the value of that particular data. But in case of triple equal, it will also check the data structure, what data structure you have defined here, because this is a string and that was an integer. That's why there's a major difference between the double and the triple equal. Okay. And now hopefully you have got the idea about the operators and the variables and the identity.